When tyranny comes and you're not against it, you're gonna reveal who you are, right? Because I saw the "don't tread on me" flags. I've seen all the guys saying that they're for the Constitution. I hope we don't find out, because I hope Trump doesn't go in an extreme direction on the elections. But if he does, we're gonna find out who's a patriot and who never really meant it when they said they love America or the Constitution.
Donald Trump has really been spiraling this week, posting hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times on Truth Social, including calling for more of his political opponents to be investigated by his team of personal attorneys at the DOJ. We'll get to the specifics of why Jack Smith was on this list, but first, Cenk, your 2 cents.
Yeah, so this guy's utterly unhinged, and this is not normal. We can't get used to this. Constantly saying for either no apparent reason or based on old grudges, I don't like it, I want to talk about political crimes, is not a thing. It's not a thing. And if you think it is, that's a giant problem. All right, we'll discuss it.
Yeah, and bear in mind for context, they said that Joe Biden was weaponizing the DOJ or whatever, just because there was an investigation of Trump. Joe Biden didn't talk about it. Joe Biden didn't direct Merrick Garland to do it. He didn't talk with Jack Smith. There was no connection whatsoever. Just that it existed was proof that it was political. Donald Trump posted this on Truth Social, which is not proof that it's political. Based on his testimony today, there is no question that capital D deranged Jack Smith should be prosecuted for his actions. He destroyed the lives of many innocent people, which has been his history as a prosecutor. At a minimum, he committed large-scale perjury. And then there's a bunch of Truth Social posts where he gives examples of the perjury that Jack Smith committed. I'm kidding, there's none of that, because he didn't break the law, he didn't do anything wrong. He just investigated Donald Trump, which you're not allowed to do. And Jack Smith is on his mind, because Jack Smith, of course, he gave private testimony to Congress, I think last month. He did it this week on TV, you could watch it, they were asking him questions and everything. And I wanna go into just a little bit of his defense of the investigations into Donald Trump, which you'll see here.
We followed the facts and we followed the law. Where that led us was to an indictment of an unprecedented criminal scheme to block the peaceful transfer of power. Our investigation developed proof beyond a reasonable doubt that President Trump engaged in criminal activity. If asked whether to prosecute a former president based on the same facts today, I would do so regardless of whether that president was a Democrat or a Republican. No one should be above the law in this country, and the law required that he be held to account, so that is what I did.
And of course there he's referencing before the Supreme Court swooped in and decided that Donald Trump should be above the law. This is back when we had a Constitution and stuff, so out of date a bit. But yeah, he was investigating him because he committed the crimes. He stole the documents. There's no dispute about that. He just stole them. He did do the insurrection. He did organize the fake electors. He did pressure Raffensperger to find 12,000 additional votes. He did send a mob to the Capitol. This is not, like there are people who think that that's awesome, but there's nobody that does not acknowledge that those things happened. And so that's why Donald Trump wants him investigated. And he's not the only political opponent of Trump that he's calling out. We'll get to the others in a bit, but first, Jack Smith.
Okay, so first of all, John's of course right about there's a giant difference between the president, who's not supposed to interfere with the Justice Department because it's supposed to be neutral and represent the American people, and what if the president does something wrong? There's a reason why it needs to be independent. So Biden didn't say anything to Merrick Garland, as far as we know. No one's ever presented any evidence of that. And then Merrick Garland sat on his ass for 2.5 years and did not pursue Trump. So why he did that is a little bit of a mystery. I think it's because he's pathetically weak. But by the way, when he did finally pursue him, I think it was a little political on the timing. So if you really wanted to go after Trump, which I think they should have, 100%, he totally lied and tried to steal that election, has never presented one piece of evidence, never, that it was stolen, okay? In a courtroom, here you go, you love lawfare, Donald Trump. You have a golden opportunity to present your entire case. Zero evidence, never, okay? So what I would have done is I would have prosecuted him on day one. Because you got it, Jack Smith said this in one of the proceedings, and he's right. If you don't set a precedent when someone breaks the law and you make it clear that it is wrong, if you don't do that, then you're gonna get it again and again and again. okay? So Merrick Garland was the opposite of doing lawfare, except at the end, again, I think that it was kind of, the timing was terrible, terrible. But for the first 2.5 years, he's like, I don't know what to do. Do I enforce the law or not? He's like, he was a terrible attorney general. So, okay, now you turn to Trump. He's like, interference, yeah, of course I want to interfere. I don't like that guy. That guy bothered me when I tried to steal an election, okay? Go after him and put him in jail no matter what. I mean, it couldn't be any clearer interference. He's saying it publicly like a moron. Remember, the first time he wanted to go after his political opponents, he meant to send a text to Pam Bondi and he accidentally put it on Truth Social. He's so monumentally dumb and corrupt.
Yeah.
So, okay, so it's not surprising that he's gonna try to put Jack Smith in jail. He's gonna try to put everybody who criticizes him in jail eventually. You think he's gonna stop at Jack Smith? And by the way,
he didn't start at Jack Smith. They already did Comey and they did Tish James, and he's been investigating everybody. Everybody committed mortgage fraud. Did you know that, Cenk?
Yeah, and by the way, you think he's gonna just stop at Democrats or political figures or whoever it might be? Go ahead. Like, for example, today I see Glenn Greenwald, who has been all over the political spectrum, but is a generally principled guy. So he's principled on ICE and he's criticizing how they're calling people domestic terrorists now, US citizens. We're gonna talk about that later in the show. So now, the opponent of Donald Trump, how dare you criticize Donald Trump? You arrest him for whatever goddamn reason. Is that what you want? And by the way, I guess this is the right wing saying, if for whoever agrees with this, them saying we trust Democrats. Wait, why would you come to that conclusion? Because basically you're saying, no, I know if a Democrat gets in office, they're not gonna prosecute me in the same way that Trump is, because Trump's a madman, and I know that. And I know Democrats aren't gonna break the law to do that. That's why I don't mind it. I feel pretty comfortable, right? Because otherwise you'd be like, what? You're gonna give the president that kind of power to arrest any political opponent? What if a Democrat comes in and starts arresting all of us?
Yeah.
But you're not worried about that, are you? Otherwise, you would be opposed to this.
Yeah.
So like, thank you for the admission that the Democrats in that case are more honest than the Republicans and Trump, because it is a flat out admission. And now, of course, I know what some of you are thinking, oh, what do you mean? They started the lawfare. Do you know that how many times Donald Trump has sued people? It's in the thousands. People lost count. They think it's around 4,000. Don't forget, Noble Mobile saving you a ton of money. So a lot of people are signing up now and beginning to realize, what the hell, why am I paying so much to Verizon and AT&T? So your bill's only $50 a month, but it can actually be less because they give you money back if you don't use your data. So if you're paying more than $50, there's no reason to not switch. It's crazy not to switch because same phone, same number, same contacts, literally nothing changes. TYT.com/switch, TYT.com/switch. All right, we'll be right back. Donald Trump has been doing lawfare his whole life, and you know why? Because that's what rich people do to abuse anyone that gets in their path. Oh yeah, I have an army of lawyers and you're just middle class. You don't have any options at all. Lawfare! And he would do it over and over and over again. Now he has the power of the presidency. He's like, before I would just try to ruin them economically for criticizing me or harming my feelings or whatever. Now I get to use the law and abuse it and put them in prison. Now this is what a tyrant does. Yeah. Don't tread on me.
Well, and he doesn't have to pay his lawyers. We pay his lawyers. We pay Pam Bondi and we pay Todd Blanche and all of that. And he just dispatches them after his opponents.
Okay, all right, one more thing about the whataboutism. So, well, they did it to Trump. In your mind that they did, right? I think Trump has broken the law an unbelievable number of times. By the way, I think by the end of his term, a lot of people who voted for Trump will agree with us and go, damn it turns out he was a con man the whole time. Okay, but let's wait for that moment. A quarter of them, in my estimation, already realized that, and we're gaining more and more people as we go along. But wait, if you thought it was so bad, I don't understand that. I'm a principled person, so I don't understand that logic of, so lawfare, what they did to Trump was terrible, terrible, the worst thing, so let's do it to them. How does that make any sense? So here, I'll give you an example. Like, I think the worst thing in the world is the genocide that Israel's committing in Gaza. So I speak out against it very, very forcefully all the time. You guys see me doing it, right? If I said the genocide that Israel did is so terrible, that's why we should do it to Australia. You'd be like, what? Or to Israel. Like to say, okay, you know what, strike back, let's do a genocide against this. No, no, no. It isn't about Palestinians and Israelis, etc. It's about the principle of genocide is bad. I don't want anyone doing it. I don't want them doing it. I don't want us doing it. I don't want anyone doing it. And if you think, yeah, I don't like that. I want to be unprincipled. I want to say when they do lawfare in my mind, that's terrible. But when we do lawfare, that's awesome. Well, okay, you have no principles at all, and you're not a thinking person. That's okay. You're like blindly partisan, and there are blind partisans on both sides. Congrats, enjoy your blind partisanship.
Yeah, there is blind partisanship on both sides, but I also think, I don't know, I think that we take for granted that like hypocrisy is a bad thing. I think we just assume that that's a thing everybody thinks. I don't think that that's evenly distributed across the political spectrum. And I'm not saying it's natural, I'm not saying it's cellular. I'm saying that conservatives have been taught a lot of lessons by Fox News and right-wing media for literally decades. And the lesson has not been that everything should be fair and equitable. They're pretty clear that they don't want things to be equitable. So we shouldn't be surprised that they think that hypocrisy is totally fine. You're seeing it on the world stage. Trump is saying the strong beats the weak. That's what happens. They think they're the strong, the Democrats the weak. They can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
And in terms of, you pointed out, Jack Smith saying, you set the precedent. If you don't investigate them, if you don't charge them, then they'll do it again. That's why so many people have this sinking feeling in their gut about the midterms this year and about 2028. The Republicans have no reason to believe that stealing the election or even just trying to steal the election, even a violent coup, is a thing that they should avoid because there's consequences for it. There's no consequences for it. There's no consequences for them politically. There's no consequences for them in terms of their freedom. And they've also, now Trump, because he didn't get any consequences, was put in a position to tell all of his followers, you know what, if you do it for me, I'll pardon you next time. And you won't have any consequences either.
So blind partisanship and hypocrisy are two different things, right? So yes, I think that the Republicans have been more hypocritical. I agree with you. In terms of blind, I mean, our side, Joe Biden, thought Joe Biden was young. So like we've been as blind as.
I said there's blind partisanship on both sides.
Okay, so all right, so.
And Kristen Sinema is a principled politician. Yeah, I know, it's there.
And by the way, the establishment is the blindest of all. They're like, oh, corporate Republicans and Democrats, they're all lovely, okay? Oh, you outsiders, terrible, trying to represent the American people. So like everybody's blind in their own way, and like the establishment is so blind, especially the journalists. They're like, money in politics. What name so?
Yeah.
Like they're like, I don't even see it. How could you not see it? All the bribes. And so, okay, now to the point you're making about this overall in terms of like the elections coming up. Look, John, that's a big topic. And what I would say about that is, if he goes towards like messing around with the 2026 elections, so that's obviously a nightmare scenario. So I get that there will be a part of his base that'll be like, yeah, great, I love it. No, it's a what about is they did it to us, and plus we're not doing it. We're not doing it, right? And plus they're eating cats and dogs, okay? But I think he's gonna lose independents completely, and not just lose them, but like if he actually, and the independents believe he's messing with the elections, they'll come in the streets with us.
I hope so. I mean, I think he's already lost the independents. He's got like 25%.
Yeah, he's already lost them in a big way, but I don't mean like in a voting way, right? But I mean like in the streets.
I hope so, I hope so.
Like we're not interested in tyranny. That's not, we're not interested in that at all.
You've seen his executive orders, like he's getting all the voting data, he's trying to crack down on mail-in ballots, like all the tweets that he sent out, that was not just bluster, he wants to do those things. We'll see. I personally think ICE is gonna be dispatched to a lot of key districts. I think to interfere on election day, we'll see.
And I'll tell you this, yeah, whether it's Republican, Democrat, or whoever it might be, and look, the corporate Democrats don't really tend to go towards, they go towards slow motion, soft tyranny, right? As like the corporate kind of corporate rule dominating all of us and slowly sapping our life energy out of us. That's the uniparty, right? So I get that, but overall, guys, when tyranny comes and you're not against it, you're gonna reveal who you are, right? Because I saw the "Don't Tread on Me" flags. I've seen all the guys saying that they're for the Constitution. I hope we don't find out, because I hope Trump doesn't go in an extreme direction on the elections. But if he does, we're gonna find out who's a patriot and who never really meant it when they said they love America or the Constitution.
Yeah, I don't know. I think we might be a little bit too hard on them. I think they were being very honest when they said, "Don't tread on me." Me, that person, they're Somali. I don't care what happens to them. It didn't say don't tread on any of us.
Every time you ring the bell below, an angel gets his wings. Totally not true, but it does keep you updated on our live shows.